back to Wapplewood. It is a nice May night, and today we don't have a special guest, but we do have a special challenge for PapaLlama. 1 month ago, 2 episodes ago, he did a fun quiz on me to see how much I knew about the American South. So now I'm doing the same to him, but challenging him on Canada.
And I'm
PapaLlama,
going to fail gloriously.
yeah. So, have you ever been to Canada?
Believe it or not, I have.
Oh, now this
But
is
I
an
was very
important
young.
question. Which part of Canada? The Canadian viewers want to know this one.
What is the so when I was young, this is gonna throw a lot of people for a loop. When
Hmm.
I was young, I'm just gonna say a darn Yankee.
Oh
I
no.
lived in Detroit. How's that for a youth?
Oh,
I'm from Detroit.
oh.
I'm misplanted, which might be why I say things like crayfish. But
It
yeah, I
doesn't
don't
really
remember.
sound like
I was
that.
young, but it was the island that's actually in Canada. That's what we would go to.
That's,
There's an
I
island.
love the answer. It's so unhelpful. It was like,
I don't know. There's some island that we would go across, one of the Great Lakes, and we would go to the island, and it was in Canada. So that's what I know.
well, Canada is a country of 2 million lakes. That means if you divided up all the lakes by citizens, you would have about 12 people per lake.
They should
So there's a
honestly just
lot of islands.
they should just move everybody to the islands, like give a dozen people per island.
All right. So while we think about which island you possibly could have been to, we're going to dive into the questions. Now, first, I'm going to start off with language and culture, and this is going to be the same section because they're very similar to each other. And now, I'm going to give a hint. This one is for the francophones. Define the define the following: Hobbes, Habs,
Hobbs.
Hobbes.
Define the following. Hobbs. Is it a noun? Can I ask that question? Can I say it's a
It,
noun?
it, it is a noun. It is the name.
It is a noun. Okay. Hobbs. And I'm guessing Hobbs is plural. Uh, is it? I don't know. Jeez, I have no clue. Give me a hint here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna fail this miserably.
It's a it's related to the popular ice sport in Canada. One
Oh,
of the popular
hockey.
ice sports. Hmm.
It's gonna be hockey, right? Hockey. Hobbs. Is it gonna be when somebody like? Is it gonna be when somebody like slam? Is it gonna be a check like when somebody slams the other guy? Is that what it is, or is it a goal? Slap on the stick? I have no clue. What is it?
Hobbes is the nickname for the Montreal Canadiens, also known as the Habitants, which is the term that refers to the original French settlers of Quebec. It's the Montreal Canadiens are the best hockey team. Well, historically, they're the best. I'm not going to say they are the best because I don't know enough about hockey, but they have the most Stanley Cup titles of any singular team. This one, I think you'll have a better chance at. Define Timbit. Timbit. One word.
Wait. You said the word Tim, right?
Mhm.
Is it something that they sell at Tim Hortons?
It is something they sell at Tim Hortons. It's one of their iconic offerings.
Is it a donut? Is there a special kind of donut I don't know about?
It's related to donuts. Yes.
A donut hole?
It is a donut hole. Congratulations. Yes.
Hey, there we go. We get
Mhm.
baby llama and little llama get donut holes after the 8:30 mass. All right, I got one.
Yeah.
I can't believe that the concept of the word Tim saved me.
Yeah. And now this one, if you paid any attention to the recent Kendrick Lamar or Drake controversy, define the word Crodie. Cordie.
Crodie. It
C.
sounds G.
Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie.
Charlie. C. It almost sounds like grody. So let's say that it's let's say gross. Does it mean gross?
It did not mean gross. It is it's particularly used in the more urban areas, and Drake specifically, I believe, has taken it from Toronto slang. It is a word that means friend or other
Oh,
close level of allegiance,
that
similar to
is
the
the
word
ugliest
Brody
word
in
for
American.
friend. Oh,
I don't know
Brody.
where they got it from, but Drake loves saying it, and I recall Kendrick told Drake that he
This
shouldn't
is a
be saying
terrible
it.
question as my personal least favorite forms of music are rap and hip hop. And not because I like think less of them, I've just never taken to them.
All right, and
Right?
now this one, I'll give you a nice hint. This one is about a famous song. What is in North Ontario?
Is that how they pronounce it? North Ontario.
The pronunciation is part of the clue. It's a clue.
And this is music.
It is music. Most Canadians I've talked to have heard this song at least once in their lives.
Yo, dude, I'm drawing a blank. I have no answer to this.
Take a shot in the dark.
Uh, is it sang by Shania Twain? She was Canadian, right?
Nope,
No,
not by
no.
her. She may have done a cover of it, but it's not by her.
She was actually Canadian. Though. I don't think people know that. She's like a famous country
I
singer, but I think
didn't.
she's Canadian. Is she Canadian? I'm gonna
I
Google
don't
this.
know.
Am I right? I don't know. I have no clue, dude. You've definitely lost me here. Yeah, she was Canadian. Ha, called it. Um,
All right.
I don't know.
So,
Canadian national anthem. No, I'm
nope.
kidding.
This,
That's
what
definitely
is in
not.
North Ontario are the black flies. There was this fellow who went up to North Ontario during a survey, and if you've ever been up there, you'll know about the black flies, and they will eat you right to the bone, as the song goes.
Really?
And mhm. And it's a wonderful song. You should absolutely listen to it if you're given the chance. But
Okay.
now
Black
we're going to
fly
move on.
season.
Yep. And
Hmm.
now it's actually just about the start of black fly season. So for the Northern Ontario listeners, you have my condolences.
Some people are suffering right now.
All right, now this is the last one of the culture and language section. What famous war poem was written by a Canadian during World War One?
Famous war poem.
Mm-hmm.
Jerma, this is all of this whole quiz is so far outside my scope of knowledge.
I feel kind of bad now. I
You're
feel
you're
like
killing me here, Smalls.
uh,
I'm trying to think of all the war poems that I actually know. Which
I'll give
is it?
you a hint. Poppies row on row.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um, I know about the poppies in England, right?
Mm,
So is it the same one? Is it the same like is it like kind of the same story as the poppies in England?
I don't think so, no. And I'm not entirely
Hmm.
sure what you're referring to.
I feel like there's a location, but I don't know the answer to this.
It's in Belgium. Yeah, and for one final hint, I'll give you the author's name. John McCrae.
I'm still drawing a blank. I don't know that many war poems in my time.
Well,
And the fact that it was in World War One makes me even more lost. Although
oh,
knowing World War Two, it was crazily bloody and so many people died.
mhm.
So, get a field somewhere. Who knows?
All right. The poem was In Flanders Field. In
Oh,
Flanders
yeah.
Field, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly, scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawns, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. Now we lie in Flanders Field. And that's not the entire poem, but that's like the first two verses.
Have you ever noticed how like well, and it's probably a normal thing, but coming out of World War One, all of the media, the poetry, the art was so morbid. It's probably because it was
Yes,
such a crazy war.
I mean, well, this one, if I, uh, unfortunately, Cray did not live to see the end of the war. He died of pneumonia in January 1928. So in January 28, 1918, uh, but he was a Canadian physician who fought as a part of the war. But
Okay,
unfortunately, on that note, you've come through the language culture section with 1 out of 5.
man,
Now
I
we're
was
going to
hoping it
move
was
on to
one out of
food.
four.
hopefully you'll be better at food. Now this one is a simple 3-layer dessert from British Columbia.
3-layer dessert.
Hmm.
What kind of food is in it? Like, what is it made out of?
It's made of, I believe, chocolate, a custard, and crumbs as the base.
So it's some kind of a pie.
It's not called a pie, and it
Oh.
doesn't have a crust. I'll give you those hints.
Oh, I thought you said cookie crumbs. I thought maybe it was a cookie crumb base. I should know more about Canadian food. If it's not poutine, I don't know it exists. Is there? It's not a pie, so it's gotta be. Is it a type of cake?
It is not really a type of cake. It depends on what you define as a cake. But it's not
Not
a
figgy
bake.
pudding, is
You
it? That's
don't bake
English,
it. You
but
don't bake it at all.
you don't bake it.
No. And you would serve it in little squares, or even if you were bars. That's a hint.
Little bars.
Hmm.
I don't even know. I have no clue. What is this thing? You're asking me all these
It's
tough questions
called
about Canada.
it's called a Namanio bar. It's named after a small town in British.
Namanio?
Uh, Nam, Nanaim. I can't really pronounce the name to be entirely honest. It's spelled Nanaimo. It's a basically
Oh yeah. Sure
crumbs
enough.
crumbs on the bottom, a creamy custard, and then a piece of chocolatey fudge on the top, and
Well,
they're
that looks
wonderful.
really good.
It's
That looks
wonderful
great.
thing. Hmm.
It looks very pleasant. Okay.
Now
Nanaimo. Okay, yeah.
this one you may have, but by a different name. And I'm looking for specifically the Canadian name. It's a pastry
Okay.
filled with butters, eggs, and sugar mixed together and then baked.
Butters, eggs, and sugars? Like just any sugars?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar.
I think down here we just call it like a puff pastry.
It's
No.
it's in a pastry, like little pastry cup, like a smaller pie. Well,
Oh, we have those little things down here, and typically you'd fill it with like a cream, right?
it's not a cream, and
Oh.
the filling is egg, butter, and sugar.
Oh, the filling is egg, butter, and sugar.
Yep.
I'm lost, man. You got me beat here.
We call them butter tarts.
Oh, I've heard of those before.
Hmm.
And honestly, that is what I was thinking. So sometimes it's not cream, but it can be kind of fruity.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Because I feel so bad for you right now, I will give you that point.
Yeah.
I know we're doing Canadian quiz and all, but I really feel like I'm clubbing seals here.
You are. I will say this. You kind of I think last time when we did the southern test, I want to say that I very purposely didn't give too many open-ended questions. That's a real risk when you're doing a quiz like this because you can end up with a situation where somebody doesn't even have anything to guess from.
Yeah.
I believe last time I think I gave you some like regions to work with, especially in like the food section. But anyway, it's just
The
a
food
thought.
section is very regional. I
Yes.
worry that getting you into Canadian regionalism, you would be so incredibly lost. I actually have a few questions about Canadian regionalism.
Yeah, I am actually looking at it like the food portion of it. The questions I did actually just straight up be like, here are the five regions. Which one is which?
Yeah. All right. Now here's the last of the food section. A pie made with a berry sharing a name of a famous city in Saskatchewan.
The problem is I don't know anything about Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Do you know what Saskatchewan is?
Yeah. What it is, isn't it? Is a province, right? Am I
It's a
crazy?
province, yes. It's a province.
I at least know that much. Would they just call it a Saskatchewan pie? Berry pie?
Very close. Off by less than a syllable.
This sounds like a trick. It's gonna be like the word pie is one syllable.
Nope. That part was the berry pie was right. The first part was not.
what do you call somebody that lives in Saskatchewan, or what's a region? If I was to say that like you know how I say I'm a southerner because I'm from the south. What's a Saskatchewan? Ian, is it Saskatchewan?
Barking up the wrong tree here. It's a city, remember?
Oh, my bad. I sorry. Why did I say it was a province?
Well, it's
Well,
a city
like
in the
if
province.
I
It's a city.
if you said you were from if you I've, you say that, but I've heard people who be like, "Well, I'm from Memphis. I'm a Memphian."
That's an awful word. I don't want to hear that one again.
It is an awful word. I've heard people say they're a Nashvilleite.
Mhm. All right, now I'm gonna give you a hint. Think of
Okay.
think of like Looney Tunes. Hopefully
Is the
that'll
word
help.
is it Saskatoon? Is
That's it.
Saskatoon
Yes,
very high?
Saskatoon berry pie.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate that we worked this out. If this was an actual test, I would have gotten F.
Yeah. All right. Now you're doing much better. 2 for 3 on food.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll take it.
All right. Now we're moving on to history. Now, this is accredited as the battle that birthed the Canadian nation. It is where the Canadians did in 4 days what the French and the British could not do in 2 years.
What did they do?
Well, I can't, telling you what they did would give you a very big hint as to what
Ah,
they did. So, if you want, I could give you a year.
uh, the only war I know of was no. I don't know of any wars up there.
This battle, mind you, did not happen in Canada.
Okay, I'm not. There's no way I'm gonna guess this.
All right, I'm going to give you a big hint. France, 1917.
France, 1917.
Hmm.
Is that World War One?
It is World War One, yes.
It birthed the nation? Wait,
Hmm.
surely Canada was a nation before that.
It was a nation as in a country, but it was 50 years into being a country. However, being a nation as in having a national identity wasn't quite there. It's like the Anzacs. A lot of people would say, oh, the Anzacs, Australia and New Zealand were truly born as nations during Gallipoli, which is, well, I will feel free to correct me, but that is something I've heard people say. Uh, this is the inverse. Instead of their nationhood being like, oh, wow, we got beat up so badly and we're going to have solidarity over that. This is, we
Yep.
won so hard, we're going to have solidarity over that.
Move on. I guess that's a cool thing to have solidarity over,
Yeah.
or about. I will say I'm out of it, but the only battle I know is the Battle of Quebec, and I know that's not it because that was like in the 1770s or something.
So we're running low on time, so I'm just going to say that it was called the Battle of Vimy Ridge.
There was no way I was gonna know that.
It's a big event to the Canadians.
I bet it is, but I'm on the opposite side of the continent.
I mean, you are actually, I believe you are closer. Like, actually, I looked this up today. You are closer to one part of Ontario than that part is to the other side of Ontario.
I actually saw your post about that. That was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Mhm. Now we're going to have to get back on topic. Who was the sovereign of Canada in 2015?
Let me get. Is that going to be Justin Trudeau?
Justin Trudeau had never been the sovereign of Canada.
Oh come on, man! It's like
Give you a hint, it relates to the monarchy.
Wait a second. Don't you guys still have? Don't you guys still have the? Aren't you guys still like somehow the English monarchy is related to this?
Yeah.
Is it King Charles?
In 2015?
Nah. 20, you're right. He would probably not have been alive.
You're killing me, man.
I know, man. This is how little I keep up with the Brits.
While are you also dying? And this is like talking to a wall.
I can't even remember. Is
Right.
it Queen Elizabeth? Is that
It is
it?
Queen Elizabeth, who had been the
All
sovereign
right.
of Canada since like.
My brain was stuck. My brain was stuck on King, and I don't know why. And I was like, wait a second, it was the Queen.
All right, now this is a date, and I think this is something that Canadians love to talk about online, especially when Americans are getting uppity. August
Okay.
24th, 1814.
That's gonna be. That's when you guys burned down the Capitol, isn't it?
It is when the Canadians and the Brits burned down the White House.
was a cheeky event. I don't remember the date, but I was like, what would they get that, what would they get sneaky about? It was when you burned down Washington D.C. Is there a
Okay,
title for it, or does that count?
that counts. That counts. All right. So, 2 out of 3 on history. You're doing better now. Language really messed you up, but hopefully going into geography, you'll be doing quite well. All right. This one is
Geography's gonna
the
kill me here.
simplest question. You should be able to get it. How many provinces are there in Canada?
8?
More than that.
10. I'm gonna go with 10.
10. Correct.
I
Now,
knew it wasn't 9. Why did I think it was 8? How many are there? There's 10.
there's 10. Yeah. There's British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia.
It was Newfoundland and you said Newfoundland and Labrador. Is that one
That's
or
one
2?
province. It's an
Wow.
island
Well,
plus a
that
bit
messes
of
with dread.
yeah. It's basically like it's like Michigan kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now, this one, this is the region from which the quote unquote ruling class of Canada comes from. It's where most of the people live. It's where most of the politics happen, and it's where the most of the money is. And a big hint to you, it's centered around something named after a saint. This
You said
patron
province or a city
region,
or a region?
It goes across several provinces.
I feel like I should know this one.
I'll be very generous and not demand a precise wording. Would you like a further hint?
Yeah. Give me a further hint.
It's a central river connecting the Great Lakes to the Atlantic.
I know it's not St. John. That popped into my head, but I know it's a city,
Nope,
St. John's.
that's
But
St. John. Well, there's two. There's St. John and there's St. John's. Well, possessive.
John's is the one I'm thinking of because that's a city
There's
I've heard
two
of, and
cities.
I'm thinking about Saints. It's not gonna be St. Lawrence, was it?
It was St. Lawrence, patron saint of Canada and comedians. The Laurentian elite is a term used to refer to the people who come from the St.
The
Lawrence corridor.
Laurentian elite.
Yep, that's where
Dude, that is
Kingston.
hilarious because St. Lawrence was my confirmation saint. That's
Oh, that
hilarious.
Ooh, that's a good coincidence. But yes, that's where basically all the really major cities are. That's where Montreal, Quebec City, Kingston. I mean, Kingston's not that important anymore, but
Got you.
and Toronto are.
So when you said he was a funny guy that gave it away, I was like, wait a second.
All right, now this one's gonna be a bit harder. Name all the provinces which have a significant francophone population. I'm defining that as more than 25%.
By francophone, you just mean like French or French related, French adjacent.
Speaks French as like their primary language.
Speak French, okay. Quebec.
Quebec's one.
Montreal's got to be another.
Montreal is in Quebec.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant of me. How about Alberta?
Alberta has a historic thing of French. It did not have that many francophones these days. It's only around 5%.
I could just name them
of the
all.
province.
So I got Quebec. What about how about it sounds crazy. No, it can't be like British Columbia. It sounds like British Columbia like could be but isn't. I'm gonna say Ontario though cuz
Ontario
we have
has
sites in Ontario.
a large number, around 10%, but not high enough. But you're barking up the right tree. It is nearby Quebec.
I feel like everything that would be French would be nearby Quebec.
It's where the Acadians are from.
What about Nova Scotia? Just because I know that word.
Nova Scotia, that's New Scotland.
You know, we have a road nearby called New Brunswick.
Oh, barking up the right tree.
What's that one with 2 names again?
Newfoundland and Labrador?
Yeah, how about them? Do they have French? I'm just guessing the ones that
No, at
exist
this point, I feel so bad to you. You've already said it, but you didn't guess it.
Ontario?
No, you guessed Ontario.
I said Quebec.
You said Quebec. Yeah, that was an answer.
British Columbia? No,
you
they're the
guessed British Columbia. You guessed Alberta.
I don't know. I don't know which one it is.
It was New Brunswick.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to be so kind to you. I am not counting that as an answer.
You're not counting that. That's fair.
No, I was like spoon feeding it to you, and I'm like, you've already said it.
Problem is,
So
I
you
was just
didn't
gonna
guess
start
it, and then
listing
you
them
went
off
through
and take
everything that you
guesses.
had guessed. And all right, now this one I hope you'll get. This one is a town in Quebec. It is named after a now illegal insulation material that Canada still exports.
Now illegal installation. What is asbestos?
It is asbestos.
That's
Asbestos,
hilarious.
Quebec.
They still
I believe they
export.
may have changed the name recently. But that is the
That's
end of the geography section.
that's
And that is
hilarious.
you've completed the quiz. Out of
All right,
15 questions, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right.
like
Unfortunately,
slightly over 50-50.
I mean, yeah. Luckily for you, we are Canadians, and that is a passing grade. Well, depending on where you are.
Yeah, yeah. Depends on which school system too. Like in the U.S. public school system, that'll probably get you through. You never know.
Yeah. So, how do you feel getting utterly destroyed by the Canadian quiz?
Um, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear that badge proudly. I just don't know enough about Canada. I know there's some moose up there,
Mhm.
and you guys have cool names like Mounties, which I think King is a Mountie, or at least he's in the military. You know, some stuff
I,
like that.
I, 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 I don't think King is a Mountie, but I'm not entirely sure what King
He's
does
in the
up there.
military of some sort in Canada. I know that much.
Yes, the Mounties are the police, kind of. They're like the FBI, but they're also the local PD in some regions.
I will say the Mounties get way cooler outfits than the American police forces.
Yeah.
They're pretty spiffy. They got the hat and it's all red and
Yeah.
all that jazz.
What really shocked
So
me about this was that you failed everything relating to World War One.
I
Like,
think you really don't know how little I know about World War One. It sounds like Canada was pretty heavily involved in World War One based on this quiz.
um, if I recall, I'm not sure how much of this is true or just internet memory, but the Canadian involvement of World War One, I do know that they did a lot of stuff. The fact I'm about to say, I'm not sure it's true, but it would be very plausibly true. Several sections of the Geneva Conventions were written specifically because of the Canadians.
Well, that doesn't sound very Canadian of you.
It sounds very Canadian. It's a big thing of Canadian military history. If you look into it, un- depending on which side you're on, it's unfortunate that the Canadians did some very brutal things, and it's an interesting part, but that's how it
Yeah.
goes.
All right. Well, this was a fun episode.
It was
Everybody
a fun
can
episode.
laugh at or laugh at me trying to like work my way through the questions, and
Mhm.
hopefully the American Southerners are proud of me for failing this.
And I wonder how much the Canadians are just going to crucify me for all my
If it was
for all the
anything
stuff.
like what happened when I used the term crayfish, they're definitely
Mhm.
going to crucify you over
Hopefully,
something.
hopefully I'll make it through unscathed. But on that
There
note,
you go.
thank you everyone for listening. I've been Jerma.
And I'm Papa Llama. It was a great time. See y'all next month.